Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If you are watching this video right now, you are in the right place. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Prince of Cups, a very authentic energy. Here's someone who is trying to do the right thing for yourself. You're trying to stay true to yourself. I feel like you are, you're very sensitive right now. Usually, you don't really care what people think. You have pretty good boundaries for other people's emotional energy, but I feel like right now, you're kind of absorbing the vibes around you. Okay, I think that you're in a situation where your intentions, your purpose, your plan, your beliefs, your truth is not being supported by someone. Okay, and I feel like someone else's opinions are affecting you more than you would like them to. You're a bubble in an ocean, and to me, it feels like it's kind of a hostile environment here. Okay, and you're trying your very best to stay true to what you believe, stay true to your voice, your vision, but you're not in the most ideal of circumstances, okay? And usually, like I said, usually you don't care, but right now it feels like we're more sensitive than usual, okay? Your aura is kind of more open than normal. Let's put this into some context and see what's going on here. Yeah, Five of Wands, sure, that makes sense. We have that star inside, see? We've got the Chariot behind us, and the Chariot behind you. This is a history of being, very fortified. You've always had your armor on, but right now, the armor's off, and you feel like you're kind of in this battle mode, okay? So it's kind of like, do we put the armor back on, or, what are we going to do here? We have a Prince of Swords. You have an Ace of Wands. You have the Sun card. You have the Strength card. You have a Princess of Cups, and you have a Knight of Pentacles. You're staying true to your vision. The Princess of Cups is in the position of what you don't want. And what this would be, in this case, in this context, the Princess of Cups would be you acquiescing. This would be you just becoming part of the water, right, rather than maintaining your separate identity. It would be you conforming. This would be you taking on the beliefs or the values of the people around you, taking on their opinions. This would be you saying, oh, yeah, you're right, that was silly. I'm going to join you guys over here, Rather than going your way, you have a heart and a mind that are fixed, okay? The fixed air and fixed water energies, you're being told to fight. Okay? And if that means that you've got to fight as in walking away from somebody, then so be it. If it means that you have to sever a connection, okay, and break off a relationship or distance yourself from someone, so be it. Okay? But I don't think that you can continue to endure being the bubble in the ocean. It feels like somebody's energy has gotten through your defenses a little bit. Okay? But you've got courage. You've got a heart and a mind that are fixed. You know what you believe. You know what you value. And you have your sights set on the future. And that future will be yours. Who cares what anybody else thinks? Okay? Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here. with our Tibetan prayer wheel right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments right below the video. Now, as we look around the room, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana cards. And the bubble in the ocean is air inside the water, right? What we have here is air, Aquarius, inside the water, Cancer, air inside the water. So what this is telling me is that, for one, it's a confirmation that you have a purpose in life, you have a voice, you have a belief, a value, a truth, a mission. Okay? You have an authenticity, you have an identity that is sacred and holy and special and spiritual, and it deserves your devotion. Okay, this is you with a devotion to your inner star, your inner truth, a devotion to your destiny. Even if the environment that you're in right now feels like there's conflict, feels like it's a battlefield. Okay, and I think the message here is simple: that you're gonna continue pushing forward toward your destiny, regardless of the opposition. I think we need to be strategic, and it's not just about trying to steamroll over everybody, but figuring out the best way to avoid the bovine excrement, avoid the entanglements, avoid the conflict wherever you can. And it really is a strategic valuation of that battle. Is it worth me fighting? Do I have to go through this obstacle? Or can I go around it? Going around it might take longer, but it might actually save you time in the long run. You know what I mean? So understanding where we need to push back and where we just need to say, talk to the hand, I'm walking away. All right. So we've got our majors. Of course, we have the authenticity and the courage that it takes to live life for yourself and live life as an authentic, radiant spiritual being. Fire and fire, water and water, air, and then we've got our earth energy up there. So the Prince of Cups is that fixed water energy. It is the bubble in the ocean. There's depth to you. Okay, you're on an emotional quest. It may be a romantic pursuit. It's romantic in the same way the quest for the Holy Grail is a romance, you know? But we could actually be talking about love and romance. Okay. But the idea here is that you believe in something and you value something, and that's what you want for your life, and that's the direction that you want your life to take. However, there is resistance and pushback from somewhere else. Okay. You're moving toward what feels soulful. Okay. You're being true to yourself. You're having that honest and vulnerable conversation, at least with yourself, probably with somebody else too. Maybe a Leo person. Maybe a fire sign person. And you're staying true to your inner voice. You know, you're in pursuit of something that your heart and soul know to be right and to be true. Your heart is steering the ship right now. Okay? And you have this sense of direction because you're acting in accordance with what you truly feel. Whether this is about your work or your life path or your education or your friends or your lover or your whatever it is. Maybe it's financial choices. I don't know. Maybe this is the pursuit of a career in art instead of, business or something. You know what I'm saying? But you're staying true to that part of you. You're on a quest for love, for meaning, for beauty, for art, for what feels real inside of you. Okay? And you're in a hostile environment. It seems like you're kind of sensitive to what other people are saying or doing or the way that they're treating you because of your authenticity. You're not trying to hide who you are. And maybe the Chariot was you kind of hiding who you were, or at least having a thicker skin. For whatever reason, your skin isn't as thick right now. Okay? The Five of Wands is, of course, the conflict, the tension, the friction. Yeah. And I think that this is a battle that maybe a series of battles, that you need to decide if you're wasting your energy or if it's worthwhile for you to sort of actively push through that friction, or in other words, to defend your choices, or to engage with that hostile environment, or if it's better to just walk away. Okay, what is the right action for you? We're not looking for drama, but the Five of Wands is the five-fingered hand. This is you reaching out and doing it because you feel it, because you believe it, because this is what your soul really wants. But somebody else's energy feels hostile. Who is that person? Okay, I feel like there's one specific person. I feel like they're a fire sign, but it's not. It doesn't have to be that. Don't engage in any ego battles, but assert yourself and advocate for yourself and get out there and pursue that life that you desire. Because remember, the princes of the tarot are the builders. You're building the life that you desire. Okay? And you've got a strategy for that. And part of that strategy is picking your battles, right? Not wasting your energy. You're standing up for yourself. You're not trying to convert people to your beliefs. You're not trying to prove anything to anyone. You know your own authenticity. Okay? But it might be that we need to walk away from someone if it feels like we're getting into the same kind of arguments and there's no real progress being made. Okay? And you may be feeling more angry, more frustrated. Try channeling that in healthy ways. Movement, exercise, health, breathing, The conflict that you're experiencing now in your life is making you stronger. That's one way to look at it. And the friction is kind of revealing where you're negotiating your own strength. Okay? And it's showing you that really sometimes being strong is walking away from somebody that is not supporting you. Okay? And anyway, so a lot of that going on. The star card underneath, this is beautiful. Because this really is your guidance, your clarity. This is your full faith, hope, and trust in the governance of your life. In other words, you feel like you're divinely inspired right now. And I do feel that you have an inner kind of clarity about you. You trust in spirit, okay? There's a glow coming from inside. And you have this belief in the governance of your life. You feel like you're doing the right thing. There's clarity about your future, and you understand the future that you're desiring. You understand the path that's before you. And I think that the star card is showing you how to be a better magician, showing you how to manifest the goal of this desire, this path, or this authentic vision and voice. And I think the star is sometimes showing you where the blockages really are. Spirit is showing you perhaps those entanglements in your life that are hindering your progress. Okay? And it's an energy that's trying to clear the path for you. And that's why there's a Five of Wands. That's why there's friction. It's Spirit trying to move things out of your way. So I feel like people that are treating you poorly, people that feel hostile, people that feel like they're somehow offended by you just trying to live your life, that's Spirit showing you the obstacles that you need to steer clear of. Okay? It's Spirit rearranging things so you have a clear yellow brick road path to get to your best life. Okay? This is that voice inside of you that's telling you to keep going because you know you're on the right track. And that's hope. It's not optimism. It's hope. Your soul recognizes that the path forward is clear. Following that light. And that's the yellow brick road. And sometimes the yellow brick road has obstacles. It has things that are testing you, challenging you. Obstacles for you to face. Usually it's in the form of other people. And I think that you're navigating those situations, those relationships. Okay. And the Chariot in the background is fortification, but it's also determination. The Chariot is willpower and momentum, direction, self-mastery. And I think that, this was a time where you really had your armor on. You didn't have any distractions. You were very focused. There's a devotion and a discipline here. But I think now there is this obstacle that you're facing, where there is this kind of an extra sensitivity to somebody else's input, somebody else's energies. Perhaps it's somebody whose opinion you really value, or it's somebody that you feel is maybe a powerful voice in your life. Okay. When challenges arise, you're trying to respond with focus. Okay. You are the driver of your life. And again, this is where you have your armor on and you're following your path. Okay. But now there's this increased sensitivity. But the Prince of Swords at the top here, this is your strategy. Now, I got to say that there are two Aquarius energies. Both of these are Aquarius power cards, so I would probably watch the Aquarius reading if I were you. Because this is that North Star, right? It's kind of showing you what your path should be, showing you your yellow brick road. This is it. This is your true north. This is you locking in to your true north. This is your logic. This is your strategy. This is your mental agility. Okay. And this is you figuring out how to navigate those challenges. Your mind is cutting a clear path through that friction. You're a good communicator. I think you're very direct. You don't need long, drawn-out explanations. We're talking just quick, get to the point, let's go, So plan with strategy, don't react. Figure out the best. It's not tactical, right? It's strategic. And I think that you're trying to be strategic because you want to minimize the amount of energy expenditure that we might waste on any particular obstacle. We want to find a way to get through it with the least cost. Okay? So you're making those decisions. You're creating a plan, make a budget, make a schedule, make a blueprint. And your intellect, right? It's a gift because it's serving the clarity of the star card. It's not serving ego. 5 of Wands, it can be ego. And it literally is Saturn in Leo. So the 5 of Wands is telling you that you don't always have to show your strength, right? That's ego, which is wanting to show off. Sometimes strength is your ability to quietly walk away and just avoid wasting your energy on that stuff anyway. Sometimes that's the stronger thing to do. Showing your strength is not always showing your strength. Okay. And so we understand that we're making a decision based on that star, based on this divine energy, this clarity, this destiny. We're not making the decision based on ego, because ego is just going to want to fight. Ego is going to want to say, hey, you can't say that to me, wants to feel the pride, doesn't want to feel like it's shrinking at all. So we have to be able to hold the reins of the ego. And I think the strategist is the perfect card for that, because you're building the life you desire. And this is the strategy for building that life. This is how you're going to build the life you desire. And it needs to be cost effective. The ego comes in and wants to build this house, and it's just using the most expensive materials, and it's just saying, let's go bigger, bigger, bigger. Pretty soon we're way over budget, and it's just insane. It's impossible. This is logical, reasonable, how am I going to build that life? You know, what's the best way to do it that's going to get me there the fastest with the least cost, you know, but also without cutting corners, you know, of course, that sort of thing. The future position really is that Ace of Wands. This is saying go directly forward with concentration. Don't let your energy get zapped by all of these entanglements. Now, some of them you're going to have a conversation. Some of them you're going to have to just push through. I think there is a particular situation that you're being told to just ignore it. Get far away from that person and just ignore that, because the Ace of Wands is your vision. The Ace of Wands is your attention, and it's laser pointer. It's saying focus on your goal. Don't let your energy get misplaced or scattered by these other entanglements. There may be that sense of ego or pride that's saying like, I'm going to handle this, you know, I'm going to deal with this. But this card is saying, no, just keep the blinders on, stay focused straight ahead, and just ignore. Put the armor back on. Just ignore those people or that particular person. Okay? Stay motivated. Stay focused on where you're going and what you're doing. Don't get drawn into the battles. Because the fire represents your attention, right? Your vision, literally your eyesight. Keep your eyes on the prize and don't get distracted, you know, engaging with this other person or force that feels like they're sort of conflicting with you. Okay? It's not the easiest way for you to, it's not the easiest thing to do. Okay? But it's really, you know, your energy is sacred. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Just stay concentrated. Okay? And definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. It's a great way to support the work that I do here, and I really do appreciate you. So we also have the Sun card here as your general energy. And this is vitality. This is truth. This is an authentic, radiant being, you know? And I think that this is you kind of rising above those conflicts and those fights and just realizing that it's just, they can't touch you, you know? This is you standing in your own light. You're shining openly. This is not a bubble in an ocean anymore. This is a radiant star in space. Yeah. And it's not invincible, but it's pretty sovereign. Okay? So I think that it's you claiming your sovereignty and not letting anything interfere with your path, but not letting your ego get you into conflicts that you really don't need to be in. This is you celebrating who you are. This is you like saying yes to your life and letting yourself take up space. You know, it's true confidence, but it's not arrogance. I think that this is the joy of you living your authentic path. Very similar, really, to our Strength card here. But in a certain sense, the Strength card is about you restraining your power. And what I mean is with that 5 of Wands, because there's the Leo energy and this is a Leo card, it's basically saying that you can't let yourself just react to whatever the other entity is. And we kind of see a contrast. We see two extremes. This is you lashing out and really just brute force kind of taking over and dominating the situation. And then we have on the other end, we have the Princess of Cups that is just like abandoning our path and just assimilating into the emotional energy around us. Giving up, forgetting ourselves and just blending in, that sort of thing. We don't want to do that either. But this is basically saying, like, let's not lose our temper. Let's not let our ego get us into those energy and time resource wasting entanglements. Okay, we've got to control ourselves. And that really is true strength. Strength is your discipline. Strength is your ability to control yourself, especially when there's something that's like tempting you, egging you on. It's Marty McFly when anybody calls him yellow. You got to control yourself and just stay focused on your goals. The reason why somebody is challenging you is because they're jealous of you, because they don't know who they are. They're envious of your clarity and your mission in life, and they're envious of your strength, your discipline, your ability to set your heart and mind on something and move toward it. They're mad at you because they can't do it. Okay? So we've got to control ourselves. At the same time, we don't want to completely abandon our path like the Princess of Cups and succumb to the emotional pressure that is around you. So you have to be the sun. The sun knows equilibrium. There's pressure coming in that's trying to crush you. Okay, and you turn into a white dwarf, right? Turn into a dwarf star or a black hole, worse than that, right? If the sun is crushed under the weight of its own gravity, then it's gone, right? But if it pushes out too far, if it pushes too much, it's going to go supernova. You don't want to go supernova, nor do you want to be crushed into a dwarf star. This would be you crushed into a dwarf star. This would be you going supernova. Got to maintain your equilibrium. Okay? Mystery cards are either going to be the Tower, or Justice, or Temperance. Because in this case, the Princess of Cups is just giving in to the emotional pressure and saying, okay, I'll be like the rest of you. Or, okay, I've abandoned my beliefs and values, and now my beliefs and values are whatever you tell me they are. Okay? So we're not going to do that. We're not going to be in this inferior position, nor are we going to try to dominate. Basically, what we're going to do is just keep moving and not even play that game, you see. So very important, that card. And then the Knight of Pentacles in the future position, this is you looking at the goal. Keep your eyes on the prize, looking in high definition of that goal that you're after. That life, who you are, where you are, what you're doing down the road, that's all that matters. That's where you're going, that's what you focus on. And then you reverse engineer it. And then you work your way backwards. You become the strategist. Okay, how do I get from where I am now to that version of my life? That's your strategy. You're making a plan, a budget, a blueprint, a schedule. Okay? And then you stick to it. And when something comes along that's challenging you, you figure out the easiest, simplest way to solve the problem, so you don't lose any time, you don't lose any resources, you don't spend any unnecessary energy to stay on course. Okay? So this is you looking at that future life and knowing that that's where you're going. And nothing's going to get in your way. If that means you've got to just go around the obstacles, that's what you do. Sometimes you have to go through them, yeah. Every decision you make is going to have that goal in mind. In other words, there's discernment, there's wisdom, and there's the understanding of karma. Every thought, word, and deed in the present moment is creating that future. And sometimes these entanglements are not supportive of your future. And so we're not going to allow that energy to sort of go out unchecked. Okay. Let's look at the mystery card. What do we think this is going to be? Could be the Empress, could be the Tower, Justice, or Temperance. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments. Eight of Pentacles, even better. Just put your head down and keep working. Ignore the bovine excrement. You've got too much to do, too much at stake. Your future, your dream, your goals are too important for you to get caught up in any nonsense. Okay? So just keep doing it. And just focus on doing the quality work. Stay true to yourself, because you don't have time. Just keep your head down, ignore it, and keep going. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. Please click on the link in the corner. There's also a link in the video description. Subscribe to the channel, Aries, if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.